Hi, it's Joan here again. I just thought I'd do a little flip through of this little, vintage type house journal that I made for a friend. It's inspired by Odulcina, I hope I'll say that properly, Scrap Annie or Annie Scrap. You can find her channel on YouTube, and she makes the most beautiful things with lace and stuff. So I don't think mine is anywhere near her standard, but I was inspired by that. So basically it's about, let me just get my ruler. It's about just over 8 inches length and just under 4 inches. Some of the pages might read 4 inches because the pages aren't all the same, they're all staggered. It's tied together with, or joined, just a piece of beautiful sari silk, I suppose you'd call it. This came from Thread Studio in Perth, and I dyed it with some avocado skins, I think, from memory. I have quite a bit of it. I dyed in different things, so I think that one was avocado. So this is the front cover. It's made to look like a little house, basically scrapbooking paper, and then I've used some lace for the windows, a little bit of pink material here. The first page is a pocket, and then inside here I've put a little journaling card which has a gathering of material and a little bit of lace on top, and it's got some vintage, some coffee dyed paper on the back. So let's put that in there. All the paper in here is either vintage or coffee dyed, or both. So here is, the pocket is made from the cover of a 1920s pardon me, wildfire book that I've had for a little while. The flap of the book was made like this, so I've just taken it like it was, and I've just put some lace on it there to use as a flap. And this is a little lace specimen. Yeah, this is some basically butcher paper, not butcher paper, mixed media paper like the kids used. It comes from one of those big scrapbooks that I botanically dyed, I guess you would call it, with some leaves and things, probably about 6 or 7 years ago now. So I just had a bit of it left, so I just used it. It's really nice feel, and it goes well in this journal. As you can see, most of the edges are roughly torn, and they're slightly different lengths and slightly different widths. That's the idea of this journal. Sorry, I'm losing my voice at the moment. On the side here I have this beautiful lace, just a couple of little bits of it. Here we've got some more vintage paper. I think this was off the inside of another book, and I've just collaged a little bit of, I think this is Tim Holtz tissue on there. Here I've got some coffee dyed paper. No, actually this one's tea dyed, and I've just attached a little piece of embroidered doily to it, and then on the outside here I've got what was a little embroidered oval picture, so I just took it out of the picture frame and stuck it on here, and it sort of, I've added the doily at the back to strengthen it. This is from a vintage book for quilting, I guess it is. I think it was in 1920 something or 1930 something, I can't remember now. Just torn out a page. This is a little bit of deli paper. I've just stamped a house on it, and some of the ink have leaked through to here. This is a 1902 page from a ledger. Very vintage. Got this from Canada, I think it was. This is a page on the same book that I tore that cover off. And I've just got some very vintage cotton lace on here. This is a chemist prescription. I can't remember what year this was, but when we get to the other side of it, you can see the year on it. Vintage. Piece of vintage ledger paper. Coffee dyed paper. Got some material down the centre here, just to give it some strength. And it's got a flap over with a piece of material here. And in here I've got a tag. Another little house stamped. This is the other side of that receipt, 1955, oh sorry, prescription. You can see it's dated 1955. And I've just stuck a little cutout flower on here. That's the other half of that vintage book, wildflower book. I've made a little band here from some drawer sweetener paper, I think. Some little tags that I bought from, I think it was Leonie on Instagram. I can't remember her name. And just a reproduction invoice. This is the other side of that vintage ledger paper. Here I've made a little material sample, and this tag is actually from some material samples that I had in my hoarding stash for probably since 1980. So I don't know how old it was when I actually found it, so I've just ripped it off the back of some of the material and I've just stuck it on here to make a sample book. This is a journaling card from, you know, That's Life, or one of those kits. Some vintage lace. Here is a piece of the doily that you saw before with embroidery on it, and I've just backed it onto some card. And I've made this tag. It's got hand stitching up here. There's tissue paper on the background, a piece of material and lace, and just some stamping on this little tag, or what do you call them? I can't think what, label. And then over here, this is a part of that cover as well, that vintage cover. Over here we've got some of that botanical dyed paper again, and I've added on a flip out of coffee dyed paper, and I've put a pocket here so she can put something in. And some more of that cover from the vintage book, and I've stuck some vintage wallpaper border on there. And this is a page, sorry, I'm losing my voice. This is a page from a vintage magazine, 1936, this magazine called Sketch, and it's got some vintage ads on it. So I thought you might enjoy that, and she can either add into this journal or other journals that she makes, or just keep it. And I've just got attached on with one of these Tim Holtz little glider clips. And then on the back here I've got some material tape, And then I've got another flip out here, and it has a little bit of collage with some doily, some vintage direct dictionary, a little bit of material, a little cut-out bird. And then on the back here, I've got a couple of doilies or half doilies stuck on. So I hope she likes it when I send it to her. Thank you for watching.